Moment of silence for the champions, for those who make going hard a lifestyle. Never wait for nothing, gotta get it right now.
What's up, Packer fans? Welcome back to Cheesehead Talk. It's your boy Tremel, coming back with another video. The Green Bay Packers fall to the Baltimore Ravens in week 2 of the preseason, 26-13. It was hard to watch, especially towards the end with those second and third unit guys. But we faced the Baltimore Ravens team who came into this game with 14 straight preseason wins. 14 straight. So they're a great preseason team, and they were at home, so they had another advantage. All the starters will play in this game that were expected to play for the Packers, except for Aaron Rodgers, due to tightness in his back. And I was a little bit disappointed. I was very excited to see Aaron Rodgers play in Matt LaFleur's new offense. And I found out just a few minutes before game time that Aaron Rodgers would not be playing in this game due to tightness in his back. They held him out to keep it safe, and they didn't want to take any chances. But let's start with the defensive side of the ball for the starters since they were on the field first. The defense still has some work to do, especially the run defense. We're giving up way too many yards on first down running plays. The secondary played decent. They covered pretty well. The defense really didn't show aggressiveness that they'll show in the regular season because it's the preseason, so you're not going to show everything. They showed a lot of soft coverages, and they were a bend but don't break defense in their first 2 drives on the field. They only gave up 2 field goals, so they only gave up 6 points in the 2 drives that they were out there. But they did miss a couple of tackles. Tramon Williams missed one on Lamar Jackson in the open field, which led to a touchdown, but it was called back due to an illegal block. And honestly, I don't know why Tramon Williams is running with the starting unit. I'm not a fan of having Tramon Williams out there as a starter. I understand that Kevin King and Josh Jackson aren't out there, but I would much rather have Tony Brown out there over Tramon Williams. I think Tramon Williams' time is up. He showed that multiple times last season. And then Darnell Savage had a missed tackle where he gave up a 3rd and short instead of a 3rd and long. But the defense only gave up 6 points on 2 drives, so it wasn't too bad. Now let's take a look at the offensive side for the starters. On the first drive of the game, they drove down the field a little bit, but they got a turnover on downs due to a terrible pass by DeShone Kizer that was way too hard for Davante Adams. That was a terrible pass. And then on the second drive, they drove down the field again, and they would kick a field goal. So the starting offense wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great either. And a lot of that had to do with DeShone Kizer. I think if Aaron Rodgers was out there, it would have been much better. Now, for the second and third unit, it was hard to watch. They were terrible on both sides of the ball. The offense couldn't get the run game going. Inaccurate throws, penalty after penalty. We had 9 penalties in this game for 67 yards. And the Ravens only had 4 penalties for 40 yards. And on the defensive side of the ball for the second and third unit, it was even worse. Missed tackle after missed tackle. They left off right where they were last week with the missed tackles. But it was even worse in this game. And we got to clean that stuff up. Also, the run game was going nowhere. The team had 18 carries for 55 yards. That's absolutely ridiculous. Dexter Williams continued to struggle. He had 3 carries for 5 yards. Trey Carson didn't do anything. He had 6 carries for 9 yards. Darren Hall had 5 carries for 27 yards. And Keith Ford had 1 carry for 10 yards. Then you look at the quarterbacks. DeShone Kizer went 5 of 10 for 70 yards. And he just continues to stare down his receivers. And he continues to be inaccurate with the deep ball. And he'll show some flashes of being a very good quarterback on some plays. And then he just stinks it up. That's what he does. He stinks it up. And then he'll come back with a great play. He shows flashes. He teases you a lot with great plays. And he'll come back with 5 plays where he just stinks it up. That's DeShone Kizer for you. Then you look at Tim Boyle. He went 12 of 21. He had 107 yards, 1 touchdown. And he started out very bad in this game. He was terrible to start the game. He was very inaccurate on his throws. Too many of his throws were just too low. Too many of them. And then he had a fumble exchange on a run play with Dexter Williams that ended up being a turnover. And the Ravens would score off of that. Then he would make up for it on the next drive, completing a lot of big throws. And he had a touchdown on that drive as well to Alan Lazard. So he really made up for it on that drive. And he made a lot of big throws. And he showed why a lot of people want him to be the backup quarterback. But after that, he really didn't show much after that. So the battle for the backup quarterback position is wide open, and I think it's going to come down to after the week 4 game of the preseason to see who's going to be the backup quarterback. And we'll see if all 3 will make the roster or if they just keep 2. I think they're just going to keep 2. And right now, I think they're going to probably keep Deshaun Kaiser. Tim Boyle just hasn't done enough just yet to take over that number 2 quarterback spot. Then you take a look at Manny Wilkins. He went 1 for 2. He had 14 yards, and he's most likely getting cut from the team. I was very high on him, and I was very excited for his opportunity with the Packers, but he really hasn't done much lately, especially in the preseason. He really hasn't gotten a chance to show what he can do in the preseason. And I think the Packers are just going to most likely move on from him. Now, my standouts for today were Blake Martinez. He was one of the guys who stood out to me. He continues to do what he did last season and the season before that, making tackles and showing his coverage skills. Another standout guy for me was Curtis Bolton. Man, Curtis Bolton was excellent in this game. He had 4 tackles. He had an interception. He made plays in the run game. He showed his coverage skills, and he made big plays on special teams. And he really showed why they have him out there with the ones over Ty Summers. Tony Brown was another guy who stood out to me. He's been making plays in practice, and then he continued that in the preseason tonight with a tip pass that led to an interception for Curtis Bolton. Another guy who stood out to me was Jake Kumerow. He had 3 catches for 52 yards, and he had a great play on Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is an up-and-coming star corner, and he made him turn all the way around, and he caught a 22-yard pass on him. And there are still people who are saying that Jake Kumerow will not make this team. That conversation needs to go to bed. Jake Kumerow is definitely going to make this Packers team, and he's going to be a number 3 or number 4 option for the Packers in 2019. So for the people who still think Jake Kumerow won't make this team, you need to stop because that conversation is over with. He's going to be a big option for the Packers in 2019. But another guy who stood out to me was Alan Lazard. He made big plays in this game, and he led the team in receiving yards as well. He had 3 catches for 62 yards, and he really used his size very well. And he created separation. He's looking like the favorite to secure the final wide receiver spot for the Green Bay Packers, so we'll see if he makes the team. Now for the guys who struggled. Dexter Williams. He had 3 carries for 5 yards, and he had a crucial drop on a screen pass, and he also had a fumble on the exchange from Tim Boyle. So Dexter Williams has really struggled in practice and in the preseason, and he's running with the ones due to Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams' injury. So he's really having a tough time to begin his rookie career. And we'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can bounce back against the Oakland Raiders next week on week 3 on Thursday night. Another guy who struggled, Ty Summers. He really struggled in this game. Missed tackles. He had 5 missed tackles in this game. And last week, he played very well against the Houston Texans in week 1 of the preseason. But he still missed tackles. And he continued to miss tackles in this game as well. And that's why Curtis Bolton is starting over him right now. But it was tough to watch this game. The Packers didn't play good football at all. But it's just the preseason, so it's no need to panic. But that's my recap for the Green Bay Packers Week 2 preseason matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. The Packers lose 26-13, and they'll hit the field again next Thursday in Canada against the Oakland Raiders. But leave a like, subscribe to the channel, share the video, make this channel continue to grow, and also follow the social media on Twitter and on Instagram at Cheesehead_talk. Again, that's Cheesehead_talk. Go Pack Go!